So Game Pass this September is dropping 14 new titles. We're going to start this off with a Doom-inspired game that might be one of the best dropping this September in Metal Hellsinger. This is a first-person shooter rhythm title featuring metal music, but immediately the game's a bit different from the Doom franchise in that the unique twist of gunplay and battling is intertwined with metal music that really gets you pumped up. Plus the exhilarating fast gameplay, the pretty epic storyline that accompanies this game gives it its own twist as you'll be slaying to the beat with a wide variety of murderous guns, with each gun having its own ultimate ability. On top of the story mode, guys, there's also a challenge mode with full leaderboards, and the game does feature an original soundtrack by some metal icons you might even know. Take a listen to some gameplay. Metal Hellsinger is set to arrive on September 15th for PC, Xbox Series X, and S. So launching today is Disney's Dreamlight Valley. This is a game when played will be pretty similar to a game you all might know in Animal Crossing, only in the Disney world. In this life sim adventure, you'll be building up your own island, your very own home, while also creating your own unique character. Everything in this game is fully customizable. You'll also be engaging in very iconic Disney characters. You'll be taking on a myriad of quests from them with the hopes of convincing them to join your Disney island. You'll also be visiting various Disney landmarks from the famous movies like Moana's Island and a lot more. The game does also feature some really cool stuff. You can do things like fishing, mining, cooking, crafting, even planting crops. It's a game really full of tons of activities to do, a lot of wonders to explore, and really, guys, just a lot of magical things to discover in this game. It is going to be available today for the console, cloud, and PC. So if you guys have ever wondered what it's like to be a railroad engineer and have a true life experience hauling passengers or even massive freights, Train Sim World 3 might be what you're looking for. The game really puts you in the shoes of what it's like to haul incredible trains through the mountains of America, California deserts, or even running passengers through London. Now, this game does a really great job at making sure that you do get a very realistic approach to managing the trains, but also you're not overwhelmed with too much, especially if you're completely brand new to the series. And very worst case, the game does feature a training center to get you started so you're not blindly stuck at just trying to figure out how to even turn on your train or drive your train, uncouple other freight cars, and managing passengers. Guys, it's a very detailed and very realistic modern day game about train sims, and honestly, it comes with some really stacked graphics. The game is now available to play on Xbox Game Pass. And yet in another open-ended puzzle game from the makers of Shenzhen.io, we have Opus Magnum. This is a game where you design and build machines that construct potions, poisons, vital remedies, gemstones, and deadly weapons. And like most of these games that we've been seeing lately launch pretty much every month on Game Pass from the developers of Zachtronics, the game is all about intricate puzzles. There's also a story and some mini games, including one that is an alchemy based solitaire game. As usual, if you guys are into puzzle titles, this one might be your jam, and it is available today for Game Pass on PC. And so our next game here is Ashes of Singularity Escalation. This is a real-time strategy game where you're pretty much in the driver's seat and fully in control of an entire army in real time, with real-time fights and real-time tactics. The game is sci-fi. It's got a futuristic war vibe to it where you're building up your forces, you're battling out against aliens who are trying to wipe out the human race. The game does come in with a Metacritic score of 81 and is seeing a Game Pass release on September 13th on PC. Well, just in time for the movies, Game Pass is bringing us DC League of Super Pets: The Adventures of Crypto and Ace, and in this game you're going to be soaring through the skies to protect the streets of Metropolis. Now, the game is based and inspired by the movie, and you'll choose between the hero Crypto, who has those Superman laser eyes, or Ace, who has his own little unique lasers, as you take on missions around the town to not only take down Lex Luthor and his minions, but you'll also be rescuing animals along the way before they get locked up in the LexCorp Zoo. There's even this interesting little mode apparently where you can like save strays and then you go to an adoption center and find them their forever homes. The game's definitely geared towards kids, but it does have that fun, wholesome adventure for all ages. This one is set to hit Game Pass on September 13th. Now, Fallout 76 is having its newest major update. The game will be available via Game Pass, where it brings you to the city of Pittsburgh. This update is also set to have interchangeable NPCs with quests and dialogue trees, new weapons, armor, and a lot more. This is also set to hit Game Pass on September 13th. Now our next game for Game Pass is You Suck at Parking. This is a unique twist on racing where you race against the clock to land in a parking spot essentially. First person there is going to be the winner, as driving skills aren't as important as your parallel parking. The game features over 100 different levels, with them increasing in difficulty as you progress. The game also features world leaderboards to have your name enshrined as one of the best, but the game might shine the most with the multiplayer parking of it. You and 8 players battle it online to see who can be the first to park the best. This hits Game Pass on September 14th. Now, Despot's game Dystopian Army is all about building up your army for battling by equipping them the best way you can, running them through procedurally generated dungeons. This is a roguelike tactics army builder where you want to put your warriors in the best spot. You'll have those fridge movers front line, you'll have the food throwers in the back, and so on. It's a pretty silly game in some senses, but one thing that stood out to me with this game is that if you survive long enough, you actually start to face builds of other players who have made it to the end game. So there's some serious challenge to this title. Not only that, but the game features an endless exploration mode, as each and every dungeon is just generated from scratch. Despot's Depot is set to arrive on September 15th for console and PC. And that brings us to our next game in Hard Space Shipbreaker. This is a sim-like futuristic game in salvaging ships in space that almost plays out like a puzzle on how to break it down most efficiently, and with that you'll be salvaging and making a profit. You'll be then upgrading your gear, your tools to salvage even bigger and more dangerous ships, and even taking on more lucrative contracts. There's really several game modes here, including a free play mode that lets you do what you want and is more sandbox-like. If you guys like next-gen physics, breaking down ships and tearing them apart, and pretty much just kind of having like an overall relaxing time, I really think this is going to be the game for you, as this hits Game Pass on September 20th. So Beacon Pines is a pretty cute but also pretty creepy adventure set within a mysterious book where you play as both the reader and the main character, Luca. Now there's quite a bit happening in this game because you'll help Luca investigate the strange goings happening in Beacon Pine while also collecting items that you'll use at certain points of the story as fill-ins to really dramatically change the course of the entire story and book. And as a reader, you start to navigate crucial points in the story that make it very interactive as you choose the outcomes that will set off a different path each time. And the game really encourages the unraveling of the story at your pace and making the outcome the way you wish while also enjoying a pretty mysterious narrative. Beacon Pines hits Game Pass on September 22nd. Now, Slime Rancher 2 comes in as the sequel to a game that has you playing as Beatrix, a young rancher who makes her living wrangling up slimes. If you guys are not familiar with this game, jumping into the second one honestly should be a breeze. The goal here is really to discover new colorful slimes, all with their own unique types of personalities and traits, and as you wrangle them all up, you'll also be exploring a brand new Rainbow Island that is really full of ancient mysteries and slimes pretty much littered all over the place. And as you collect these slimes, you'll be collecting resources as well and upgrading your backpack and building up new gadgets and generally exploring a very vibrant game. It's a very relaxing title, and if you love to catch things and explore, I think you'll fall in love with this one. This one hits Game Pass on September 22nd. Now, from the jump, Moonscars really stands out. It stands out more than anything with its 2D Souls-like combat and really gorgeous animations, the bloody gore that completely shifts the visuals from the normal background, a game in which there's nothing linear about its 2D world. You'll be fighting off a darkness that is set to consume you at all costs. You can tell this is a really dark game, one where the difficulty and your skills really gonna matter. Moonscars clearly does take its inspiration from the game Blasphemous, if you guys are familiar with that, but it brings its own unique world. What's also interesting about this game, it has a lot of hardcore mechanics involved, even to the point when your character dies, you will have to fight a mirror of yourself just to get back your skills and powers. Dying will be very costly in this game, and this game is not going to be for the faint of heart. Moonscars hits Game Pass on September 27th. And that finally brings us to Grounded. This is hitting the 1.0 update, and it's been in early access since 2020. If you guys are not familiar, it's a unique take on the survival genre, only you're these little tiny humans in a backyard full of hordes of giant insects. And as a survival game, it does have all the normal tropes there are, like full-on base building, there's crafting, there's exploring, and just generally surviving against these insanely dangerous insects. But the 1.0 update finally finishes the story campaign. It brings in new armor, new weapons, and the giant mantis boss, which, guys, boss battles in this game look really epic. The cool thing about this game is that you can play completely solo if that's your jam, or you can play it with buddies on Xbox. Either way, you guys don't want to miss what is one of the best and unique survival games to release to date and is an Xbox exclusive. And with that, if you guys missed it, Grid Legends launched some days ago on Game Pass. This is a racer that features a full immersive story mode in Driven to Glory, and it has full online multiplayer races. Finally, let's take a look at the games leaving Game Pass. There's certainly some big ones here. As always, if you guys want to buy these games before they leave Game Pass, you can get a 20% discount on these. But with the launch of Plague Tale Requiem next month, a Plague Tale Innocence is leaving Game Pass, guys, so you guys want to complete that before it does. All these games are going to be leaving on the 15th of September. Origami 2, Bug Fables, Craftopia, Final Fantasy 13, Flynn Son of the Crimson, Lost Words Beyond the Page, Mighty Goose, Skatebird, and Artful Escape. But despite those games leaving, if you guys want to hear about the latest big games coming to Game Pass from Gamescom, check out the video on the screen.